Hey Ryan, how are you?
Hey Matt, how's it going? How are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll just jump right into it. My background, I recently graduated at the University of Kansas. And so I was in our athletic department for development and was fortunate enough to have that position. But I just kind of wanted to just network and to get into people's minds of that have been successful in collegiate athletics, and I just want to talk to winners that have done it before, that have been doing it, and I just wanted to like pick their brain and kind of see how they operated and see how they're transitioning into this kind of NIL space.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can provide some insight for you and just looking forward to visiting with you a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, how's the, I guess just to start, how's LSU looking this year? I mean, football's just around the corner. How excited are you for that? I'm sure it's just a different breed than, I guess, Big 12 football with KU for myself.
Well, I've been part of Big 12 football before when I worked at West Virginia and
Yeah.
certainly enjoyed my time in the Big 12 and have a lot of friends that still work in the Big 12. But summer is quickly coming to an end. I tell you what, we were lucky enough to play in Omaha, and when you play in Omaha, and that goes all the way to the end of June, summer is really coming down to about the month of July. And
Yeah.
so had a good month of July, and now that we can almost feel August here and football starting, it's exciting. We feel like we got a good team coming here. Transfer portal was good to us. Coach has done
Yeah.
a great job of developing talent, and so a lot of tough teams in our conference, but we certainly expect that we can compete. So very excited about that first game.
Yeah, I would be too for sure. So just jumping right into your role in president and CEO of Tiger Athletic Foundation, kind of give us an oversight of what that is and what you do day to day.
So I've been very fortunate that I've been able to work in development my entire career. And so being in fundraising since I was probably 23, 24 in a full-time role, I've been in development for 20 plus years. And that's along the way, that's been annual giving type roles. It's been major giving type roles. It's been some management, but ultimately leading to my role here at LSU as CEO of TAF, Tiger Athletic Foundation, and basically managing the day to day of our operation. Our operation consists of many different layers and departments within itself, starting with our development team that goes out and fundraises. We have our own CFO with her accounting team. We have an HR department. We have an annual giving, ticketing, and communications department, and then we have a stewardship department. So I'm just trying to help each of those areas succeed on a day to day basis, inserting myself into the day to day operation when necessary, but basically lead us into the future and try to generate as much revenue as possible for LSU athletics.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned throughout your career you've been doing this in development and annual giving. You've had obviously multiple stops, various different colleges, and if you would kind of like to just go through your career and just 5 minutes of just an overview of each stop, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I finished my master's degree at West Virginia University and was able to get into a role with James Madison University right off the bat as an assistant director of annual giving. An assistant director of annual giving at that time at JMU was just running the roads, running some regions for the Duke Club, trying to get into those different areas and build relationships to the best that I possibly could. And those gifts, JMU was a fairly young program there, obviously trying to get dollars in the door as high as possible, but we'd go see people that were giving us $500 to $1,000 at a time. And so that was a really good way to cut my teeth in the industry and get some experience in learning how to get out and develop relationships and ask people to consider support. And then from there, I went on to Army West Point and was the assistant AD for development there and annual giving, basically running the annual giving program at Army at that time. Had some great years there. Certainly loved being at Army and experiencing West Point. Pretty cool spot to be in and to work. From there, went back to Virginia and took over a role in major gifts at Old Dominion University and worked for Mark Benson, who's now the athletic director at University of Albany. Great time working for him and learning under him, but was only there a year, even though I love being there. West Virginia did reach out while I was at ODU and asked me if I wanted to come and take a major gift officer role there. And it was hard to turn down because I did have experience at WVU, and then also it being in the Power Four.
Mm.
I think people are working just as hard and doing just as good at things, no matter what level you're at, whether it's FCS, Group of Five, or Power Five. But having that opportunity to work in the Power Four or Five, whatever it is now, was certainly special to me at a place that I was familiar with. So went back to WVU, spent 9 years at WVU, and ultimately was able to be promoted by Oliver Luck, who was our athletic director. I got the second athletic director I worked under there, and was able to take over the head role of that fundraising operation. And so enjoyed that working for Oliver, and then ultimately Shane Lyons as well, who was a wonderful mentor of mine as well as Oliver was, and loved my time at WVU. Like I said, 9 years, and then had an opportunity to go to the University of Georgia, which to me was just something I was really excited about, getting to the SEC and working at the University of Georgia. They were not seeing the success that they necessarily are right now when I got there in 2017. But my first year at Georgia, we went to the national championship game. And then from then on, I think we were in a New Year's Day, whatever, called New Year's Six Bowl every year after that.
Yeah.
Certainly cool to be a part of Georgia's rise to the top of
You brought
college
the
football.
success.
I think it was all me. I mean, the year before I got there, Kirby only went to the Liberty Bowl. So I think he hadn't been back to a bowl of that caliber since. So something changed when I got there for sure. And I say that obviously jokingly, but it was a great experience there. Loved my time in Athens, and then had the opportunity to move to LSU. And we're set up a little differently at LSU. A lot of people would wonder why you would want to move from a peer at Georgia to a similar situation at LSU, and we're just set up differently. We're one of the few institutions in the country where the foundation is set up outside a separate organization from the athletic department and university. So reporting to a board of directors was attractive to me, provided me some freedom like I described when I first got on. It's kind of cool for me to have all those different areas of our department here under one roof.
Mhm.
The way I describe it a lot of times, the athletic department has a CFO. We have a CFO over here. The athletic department has its own HR department. We have our own HR department over here. So it's kind of like running your own small business.
Yeah.
We have 37 employees right now, and it's just been a great move for me to be in Baton Rouge. Love being here. Family loves being in Louisiana, and just the setup at LSU is really conducive to me
Yeah.
to want to grow roots and be here for a long time.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of kicked off the trend of this college sports kind of being institutionalized, like you mentioned, like CFO and these. You see the roles of like a GM now and an athletic department. So it seems like LSU is kind of ahead of that curve.
No doubt. No question.
Yeah. So as someone that worked with a lot of MGOs and people in your roles and that aspect of development and annual giving, what are the top skills that an MGO has and that you have and that you have kind of brought in at each stop that you've
Yeah. Sorry, I was just getting out of the
No,
glare.
you're good.
Say that again now. I'm sorry. I thought just repeat
Yeah,
that.
what are the top skills that someone like you, an MGO, or someone that's going out and fundraising? What are those soft skills, hard skills?
Yeah, I think the number one skill is building relationships. And I think that goes beyond just development, but it's certainly vital when you're in a role that's fundraising. You have to be able to build relationships. You have to be able to get in front of people. And then you've got to be able to hold that conversation. And then, that's one of those skills that you have to be able to learn and be really master is building relationships. And then beyond that, you just got to make sure you follow up. You got to make sure you pay attention to detail. You've got to make sure that you're listening well. So there's a lot of things that are pretty easy skills. It's not like you've got to go and learn rocket science, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you've got to make sure that you're attentive to all those different things that seem very easy, but you let it slip up and it's going to damage your ability to build relationships if you're not doing those things like listening, paying attention to detail, following up. Those are really important, along with being organized.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of researching you and your past and stuff, and I saw a great quote that I think you had is, I think the relationships you build throughout your career are the most helpful in your journey. And I mean, that's like what it is. I mean, that's just a staple of anyone's career is building those relationships and always, always looking back on others and reaching out and continuously reaching out and continue to build those relationships. So I thought that was really interesting on your part.
No, I appreciate that. And I think I see a lot of young people when we're at NACTA and NAD and different conferences. It's certainly great to get out there and network and meet as many people as you can. But the most important thing is to build genuine, authentic relationships with people that you can really get to know. Because those are the people that really want to help you. If you're just reaching out to people left and right just to make sure your Rolodex is filled up with as many people as possible, that's cool. You can certainly call and reach out and keep in touch, but it's those people that you really work with, that you build relationships that are genuine and authentic, that are really going to want to help you move your career forward and care about you as a person.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. And just going into your accomplishments, I mean, record-breaking stuff at Georgia at the time, public information, so I'll say it, but $140 million in 4 years is absolutely insane. And record levels at West Virginia, took the lead on new facilities on campus, senior leadership for West Virginia Foundation. How do you separate yourself from other fundraisers and other people that are kind of climbing the ladder like you were?
First off, we've had tremendous success at JMU, Army, Old Dominion,
Yeah.
West Virginia, Georgia, and now LSU. And we've set some type of fundraising record in each one of those stops. And it's just really a product of being on great teams. If there's one thing that I think that separates me and has helped me in my career, especially starting at West Virginia when I led that organization, moved to Georgia, and now LSU. The thing that's been a separator for our staff is just the people that we've hired. I mean, if you look at the different individuals that have been on these staffs, they're all so successful as individuals. And then you bring them together on these teams, and we've been able to really be successful and set these records. But
Yeah.
you look at people, Ben Murray, basically the number two guy at WVU right now in the whole athletic department. He was on staff at WVU for a really long time with me and one of my good friends. Jake Kirkham's setting records in fundraising at Michigan State and doing great jobs up there. Adrian Dow on our staff at WVU is the AD at Omaha. So super proud of what he's done there. Kevin Miller's running the University of Virginia's foundation. And even though he's been there 18 months, he's set records there. Ford Williams at Georgia has continued the success that we saw when I was working there. So and he's put his own stamp on it and done a heck of a job. Just the number of great people that have worked with that I've been able to work with has certainly been the reason we've been able to see the success that we have in the three stops that I've been a leader.
No, for sure. I mean, those are just great names, and obviously, it's not just one person, but it's everyone and everyone's contribution to towards each kind of annual giving year. But what does that giving back mean to you? Like in your definition of someone wants to give back to a university or someone wants to donate back, what's that definition for you?
Well, so I think for us, it's the best way, and I've used this word a lot, but it's the best way for you to continue that relationship with your university and give back to somewhere, hopefully, that was really important to you. We're a little bit different than if you're giving back to the business school or the law school. A lot of times people are giving back to athletics, not necessarily it being the most philanthropic reason, but more of a transaction because they want quid pro quo. They want tickets or parking, they want access to what we have. And so I think the key for us when we're getting into these situations in fundraising is to make sure we try to put those together and talk to people about the real reason they want to give back and spend their hard-earned money at LSU, and put that passion of why they love LSU at the forefront, but then also make sure that they see all the things that we can do for them if they are a donor, And like I said, we're able to help with tickets. We're able to help with parking. We're able to get introductions to the coaches at times and give them access that they wouldn't have otherwise. And so we want to kind of blend together the passion and the philanthropic side of giving with the benefits and the transactional side that you know, we wouldn't be doing our job if we weren't using it to the best of our ability.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. And yeah, you mentioned, like the donors and everyone that's giving back and everyone that's helping out each athletic department. But what about the fans? How do you kind of get their side of the story too, that maybe aren't giving back as much, or just a student like who I was recently? How do you kind of blend that all together to satisfy everyone?
So certainly start out with students. I've been at multiple institutions where we have student programs where certainly want to get them involved as much as possible, get them out to games, but also introduce them to what we're doing as a development office. Because we want to make sure as those students see success in their career and grow, that they want to give back if that's something that's important to them, and then that they know how to do it. I'd say the majority of people, a lot of LSU fans out there, and a lot of people that graduated from LSU that love the football team and love the national championships that they've seen in baseball and gymnastics and women's basketball the last few years, but they may not really know what Tiger Athletic Foundation is doing. And so we want to make sure we're educating to the best of our ability. So get those students involved as much as possible, but also educate them on what TAF does. And then the general fan, I'll just focus again on that education. We certainly love people that love LSU. We want to provide every opportunity for them to cheer on the Tigers, but ultimately our job is to try to get them to do whatever they feel comfortable with in giving back. And so whether that's $100 a year, or whether that's $1 million a year, we just want everybody to really feel the desire, and get educated on to why they should want to be involved, in our opinion,
Mhm.
and hopefully get as many people involved on the donation side at whatever level that is as possible.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a layup because your athletics has just been so successful lately. I mean, Paul Skeens and that team that won the World Series, and then like Livy Doon and women's gymnastics, and then like Jane Daniels and LSU. I mean, with football, I mean, it just must be
Yeah,
nice to
it's been a
have
cool
every single
time
sport.
to be involved with LSU for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, it's a legacy program, and pretty much every sport that's had a huge success. I mean, it seems every year in my sense. I mean, I as a KU Kansas fan, our football team was just like 0-12 like 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm not used to probably the success that you guys had, but we're on the way up, on the
Well, you
come up.
certainly have turned that around, and it has been cool to watch you go from not winning a game to being in bowl games and being super competitive. So that's been cool to see.
Yeah, exciting time as a college student there, getting to enjoy a little bit of that success in football. Um, But where LSU obviously dominant, a powerhouse school in the SEC. Where does the growth continue from? You're at the top, the cream of the crop top. You're at the top right now. Where does that growth continue, and where do you find new avenues to continue growth?
I guess there's a lot of things we can say about how much college sports is changing day to day right now. But I think the good part about what we're seeing and is there is always going to be a need for more revenue. And so, with that in mind, we just have to continue to set the bar higher, and we have to grow, or we won't be competing with our peers. And so, it's not just like we're going to work another day, another year, trying to do the same thing. It doesn't matter that we set a record last year, because if we don't set another record this year, we're going to be behind, and we're not going to have the resources that we need track the best players, whether that be NIL dollars when that was the way fundraising needed to go. And now maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It's hard to follow day to day, or facilities or scholarships, whatever that is. We've got to find a way to generate more revenue, and we'll continue to try to get creative and do that. And that's why it'll never be stale.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, for sure. It feels like every year you just see crazy numbers, and especially in the SEC. For sure. But yeah, it's really cool to see all the revenue you can generate and that you obviously have in your past, which has been, like you mentioned, like I mentioned, record breaking in every step that you've done it. I'll kind of just round it out right here with some more lightheartedness stuff. But
Yeah.
obviously, great for me to talk to a winner in you and that's done it like the right way. And I've just found success, and that's not just luck, and it's skills that you've had and people that you've talked, relationships you've built, as you said. So, yeah, to kind of round it out, what was your favorite moment at West Virginia? Obviously, you have ties back there, and then going back for so long there, and then favorite moment at LSU. So, kind of the two stops I wanted to narrow in on.
So I'll go all three. But West Virginia, we beat Kentucky and the team that had Cousins and John Wall, and they were unbeatable, and we were able
Mhm.
to upset them in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four. So that was the highlight of my time at WVU. That was special. And then 2017, my first year at Georgia, being able to go to the Rose Bowl and play in the Rose Bowl and win that game in overtime. It was pretty cool seeing Sony Michelle run into the end zone in in Pasadena and
Yeah.
be a part of that victory was really cool. And then LSU, I've been at this a long time and I had the opportunity to be a part of the teams I'm involved with playing Alabama a few times and had some heartbreaking losses when Coach Kelly decided to go for two a couple years ago in overtime and Jaden Daniels and Mason Taylor and that crew beat Alabama. That was the highlight of my career at this point,
Yeah.
and really enjoyed that Tiger Stadium that night was unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm sure it was literally shaking. So
Yep.
I mean, that's awesome. It's great to see that success, and I mean that Jaden Daniels, he's been probably my recently favorite quarterback in college football, and now obviously the NFL too.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, and he's just starting for sure.
Yeah. Um, let's see. What I guess kind of going into your leadership a little bit. What's your style like, and how do you kind of build those relationships with others?
Yeah, so I'll be completely transparent. You know, when I'm asked that question in interviews, it's literally the night before I'm interviewing for a job. I'm looking up what are the definitions of these different styles because I just most of the time I'm leading by feel and trying to be as inclusive as possible, supportive. Um, and so in my mind, leadership style, it's really a way to just help out your team and put your team in the best spot for success and be in a spot to help them any way that you can.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And then what advice would you have for someone going into fundraising, going into that sales side of kind of getting people to come back and donating? What advice would you give, especially now in NIL, if that changes anything?
I think being a good communicator and very organized in your approach is very important. But I mentioned some of the keys a little while ago. I feel like attention to detail, follow up are going to help you build relationships and being authentic. That's what's really going to be a key in helping you in any sales role, in my opinion. All my sales experience has all been in college athletics, but I think just being authentic and genuine are the keys there. Making sure people know, number one, that you have buy-in to them and you care about what that relationship is going to be about. But part of that is you can't just do that superficially. You've got to make sure when you tell them you're going to get them tickets to the Florida game that you're going to get them tickets to the Florida game and you don't, number one, forget it. You don't want to put somebody in front of them because they all of a sudden gave more money. You just have to make sure that that relationship's authentic.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think I saw that you were, what was it, mentioned on West Virginia Sport Management Program a couple months ago. How'd that come about? And I was kind of reading through it.
Yeah, that was cool. Just my grad program that I went through, I reached out and said if they could feature me for, somebody in the industry. I guess they do that monthly. But certainly it was nice of them to think about me and they put out a really cool piece. That was neat to be able to see.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed it's always cool to see you maybe at a different college, but you're still giving back and still kind of reaching out to others that were at a different college, which in your case West Virginia, because that's what's at home. That's pretty much home for you, right?
Well, Virginia,
Yeah, Virginia. Oh yeah.
So not West Virginia was home for a long time, and certainly love the state of West Virginia. Underrated state for sure. But I did grow up in Virginia, and when I go home, I go to Virginia.
Yeah. What's that drive? What's that drive to
So
home?
it's I don't say it's not drivable. I've only done it once. I think it's 14 hours, but there's a nice 2 hour flight from New Orleans to Richmond,
Yeah.
Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia. So that's the way you get home.
Yeah. See, I have no concept of the South over there being in the middle of the country, but Matt, I just wanted to thank you for your time and taking the time for me. Obviously, probably didn't know me at all, and I was just reaching out to winners. I wanted to kind of pick their brains, so I appreciate you taking the time for me, and this was awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. I certainly enjoyed talking to you. Keep in touch, and if there's
Yeah,
anything I can do for you, always let me know.
yeah. If I'm in Louisiana, I love some field side passes for myself,
Yeah.
if you
Well,
don't
I can
mind.
get you in the stadium for sure.
Give me next to coach on the.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you reaching out to me and putting this together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Matt. We'll see
You
you.
got it, man. Talk to you later.
Thank you.